Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pertinence. You know, this is the channel where we get right to the stuff you care about. And today we're diving into something that's probably on a lot of minds right now, especially as we get closer to retirement. You guessed it, it's the Social Security COLA for 2025. We're going deep based on a recent article from the Fort Hunt Herald. And I got to tell you, there's some surprising stuff in there. You might just find yourself saying, wait, what? But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me introduce the expert who's going to help us make sense of all the KOLA stuff. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to break this down with you.
Awesome. Okay, so first things first. Can you remind us what COLA is and why it even matters?
Sure. COLA stands for Cost of Living Adjustment. It's all about protecting the buying power of those Social Security benefits. So you know how when prices go up because of inflation, your money just doesn't go as far? Well, the COLA is meant to even that out by increasing your benefits every year.
So it's like a raise to help keep up with the rising cost of everything.
Exactly. But here's where things get interesting. The way the COLA is calculated, well, it might not actually be reflecting the true costs that seniors are facing.
Hold on. Is that what you were talking about earlier, the wait what moment?
Yes, that's exactly what the article highlights, and a lot of people are worried about it. See, the COLA is based on a measure of inflation. It's called the CPIW, or the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers.
Okay, so it sounds like it's measuring inflation for the average working person, not really for retirees.
You got it. And that's the issue. Retirees often have different spending habits compared to folks who are still working. Like healthcare, for instance. It's a huge expense for seniors, and those costs tend to rise faster than other things.
So if the CPIW isn't really accounting for those higher healthcare costs, seniors could actually be losing ground even with the COLA increase.
Precisely. Now, the Social Security Administration is set to announce the COLA increase on October 10th, 2024, and the increase itself takes effect on January 1st, 2025. But the big question is, will it really make a difference?
Okay, so everyone mark your calendars. October 10th for the announcement and January 1st for when it kicks in. But what's the percentage increase looking like right now?
The Senior Citizens League, they're a nonpartisan seniors group. They're predicting a 2.5% COLA increase for 2025. For the average retired worker, that means about an extra $48 per month.
$48. But as you said earlier, it all comes down to whether that's enough to keep up with those rising costs, especially in healthcare. This is getting complicated, folks, but stick with us. We're going to break it all down.
And you know, there's something else we got to think about, too. Medicare Part B premiums?
Oh, yeah, Medicare. That's huge for a lot of seniors.
It really is. You see, for a lot of folks enrolled in Medicare, those Part B premiums are taken right out of their Social Security benefits. So if those Medicare costs go up...
It basically eats away at the COA increase, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Leaving them with less extra money than they might have thought.
Exactly. And remember that Fort Hunt Herald article. It pointed out that those Medicare Part B premiums have been going up pretty steadily. So even with the COLA increase, it might not feel like much of a win if your Medicare costs are also increasing.
You know, that reminds me of my grandmother. Every time she got a COLA increase, it seemed like her Medicare premiums went up too. She always ended up with hardly any extra money. It's got to be tough living on a fixed income and trying to make ends meet.
It is really tough. It just shows you have to look beyond the COLA percentage and think about all those retirement costs.
So what can people do about it? Is there a way to make sure the COLA really reflects what seniors are dealing with?
Well, one idea that's been going around is using a different index to calculate the COLA, one that's specifically for tracking expenses that are more important to seniors.
You mean like an index that factors in those rising healthcare costs we were talking about?
Exactly. Some experts think using an index like that would make the COLA adjustments more accurate. It would reflect the real cost of living for retirees.
Yeah, that makes sense. But is anyone actually trying to make that happen?
Yeah, there's been talk among lawmakers about switching to a different index, but so far, nothing's really happened.
So we just have to wait and see.
I guess so, for now. But it's definitely something to watch, especially as more and more people retire. These issues are only going to become more important.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Can we recap the key takeaways for viewers?
Sure. First off, the eCOLA announcement is on October 10th, and the increase kicks in on January 1st, 2025. We're looking at a projected 2.5% increase. Which might sound okay, but
we have to keep in mind that it's based on an index that might not be showing the whole picture, especially when it comes to those healthcare costs.
that's right. And don't forget about those potential increases in Medicare Part B premiums. They can really take a chunk out of that COLA bump.
So the CLA increase is good news, but it's not a cure-all. Seniors still need to be smart, and plan for their retirement.
I agree 100%.
So we've talked about a lot of stuff. If you're watching this and you're either getting Social Security right now or planning for retirement later, what's the big takeaway from all of this?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be informed. The more you know about how COLA works and all the things that can affect your benefits, the better prepared you'll be to make good decisions about your money.
So what can people actually do to make sure they're set up for a financially secure retirement?
Well, first of all, don't just depend on the CLA to keep up with your expenses in retirement. It's a helpful adjustment, sure, but it might not cover everything.
Okay, so don't rely on COLA alone. What else?
It's a good idea to make a budget that includes potential increases in things like healthcare costs and other expenses.
That makes sense. Planning is key.
Exactly. And don't forget, it's never too early to start saving and investing for retirement. The more you save now, the more flexibility you'll have down the road.
Those are really helpful tips. Okay, so to sum it all up, the COLA announcement is on October 10th, and we're expecting about a 2.5% increase. But remember, there's more to it than just that number. The way they calculate COLA might not be perfect. So stay informed, plan ahead, and take control of your finances. You got this.
Absolutely.
Well, a huge thank you to you for breaking down this complicated topic and giving us such great advice. We really appreciate you being here.
It was my pleasure.
And to everyone watching, thanks for joining us for another deep dive here on Pertinence. We hope you found this helpful and informative. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives on topics that matter to you. And we love to hear from you. So leave a comment below and let us know what you think about the upcoming COLA announcement. Are you feeling good about your retirement plan? What are you doing to make sure your future is financially secure? Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.